Boop, boop, boop. And good morning, everybody. It's 10 o'clock, so let's get started. So this is episode 16 of Unhindered by Coding. We are continuing to work on the ice-repos web app, which allows me, well, when it works, which we're getting there, will allow me to batch archive a bunch of GitHub repositories, because in teaching classes, I end up with dozens, pushing 100 repositories in some class organizations, and archiving them all by hand is not a lot of fun. So trying to automate the process and using that as an excuse to better understand Rust, and that meant I needed to do some kind of Rust web thing. I didn't have to. I could have done this as a CLI tool, but I decided I wanted to explore the space of WebAssembly. This seemed like a good place to do that. So I picked YEW, as my library for building the web app. And we are currently, we're reaching out to GitHub. We're getting a list of repositories successfully. We are now dealing with the pagination problem. So GitHub, by default, gives us 30 repositories in a request. We can up that limit to 100, but I think that there could be organizations with more than 100, so simply just cranking up the max and hoping that would be enough doesn't seem like the smart plan. So we're actually dealing with, proper pagination, and that's where we are at the moment. We're still going to have to deal with things like authentication and actually sending archive requests back. So there's remarkably large amounts of stuff still to be done, but we'll deal with the pagination issue today, and hopefully we'll finish that. And if we do, then we might spend some time on error handling, because it's still a bit of a mess at the moment. So, excuse me. You're the first people I've talked to this morning, so my voice is still all froggy. But we'll get there. Before we start actually dealing with the pagination, I was going to do two quick things. If we run Clippy on the project, and if you're not familiar, Clippy is a sort of linter for Rust. There's a couple of things that I want to deal with. There are several that I don't care about. But there are a few here that I think I should probably deal with. So the ones I'm going to ignore for now, I've got warnings turned on that fuss when you have expect or unwrap. And so 5 of these 9 are expect and unwrap things. So these are examples where there's going to need to be some better error handling. And so we might get to that today, to try to deal with those. I'm not going to deal with them now. But there's a few others that actually I probably ought to do something about. So the first one, so line 181, private type repository in public interface. So we refer to repository here in a pub struct, but my repository struct is not pub. Now, what I'm not clear on is, I get why this is a potential issue. What I don't know is whether the better thing is to make that pub or to make this not pub, because I don't know if I need this to be pub. So I'm actually going to do the conservative thing and unpub that, and see if that blows up the world in an interesting way. So now repository list props is private on line 186. So this component doesn't have access to that anymore. And I think I need this to be pub for, hi, thanks for following. I think I need that to be pub for you to work correctly, he says, not actually knowing for sure. Oh, or not. Well, that's interesting. So that actually makes me wonder if I need all these pub. Now, I think one thing I'm going to need to do eventually is move a bunch of these components into their own files. This file's gotten pretty long. What are we up to now? 350 lines, and it'll get longer, clearly. And I think that's pretty long, and the right solution is almost certainly to move components into their own, or groups of related components into their own files. And then I think I probably will need pub to make the visibility work. But for now, I'm going to leave that way. And then, so now 1 and 2 are expects. I don't care. Now this expression creates a reference. Hello, nice to see you again. That is immediately dereferenced by the compiler. So line 167. Is that? I bet that's this ampersand here. If I, yeah, so I don't need that ampersand. Why did I think I needed that ampersand? I have no idea. Let's see, let's look at captures. Oh, it just takes, oops, sorry. Come on, captures, there we go. It takes a string slice, but linkster is a string slice. I suspect I forgot that this was already a reference, and so I made it a reference again. So it was a reference to a reference, which then got dereferenced, and so that didn't need to happen. So that should make that warning go away. And now, yep, that went away. So now 4 use, oh yeah, so that's on line 203. This one, so Clippy is suggesting using map or else here, and I played with that. Actually, that warning's been there for a while, and I noticed it, I don't know, a week ago outside of the stream. So let me think. So there's a question about this link stir. I think parse last page, we managed to, where is that called? That's called right. Come on. It's called. Oh, right here. I think actually maybe when I did, this had at one point been a, I think a match statement. And at some point, and I think it was in a stream, I don't think it was offline, I changed that, oh, maybe it was offline, I don't really remember. I changed that to use link as deref, and well, actually what I was really shooting for was the map or, because I had this like multi-line match, and it was actually a particularly ugly match because I actually had this whole, I built the whole state in both branches of the match, or the if-else, whichever one I did. I think think it was match. And I realized I could use map or here, pull this piece into the constructor for the struct, and considerably simplify things. If I did this, I wanted this to be the function that would take, so link here is an option string, and so, oh yeah, right, I get it. So I wanted this to take, back up here, I wanted this to take a string slice, and yes, I think you're completely right. I wanted this to take a string slice because that's the recommended way, and I'm trying to like get my head around that. And then we needed the as deref here to convert the capital S string here into a string slice. And I had not, and somebody, I forget, it might have even been you, esitsu. Somebody pointed out, because I had missed it, that you could as deref an option and it would deref the thing inside the option, which was kind of nifty. So this turned the option string into an option stir slice, leaving none alone if there's the none value, and then the map or turns this into a 1 for the last page if there isn't a link. It was you. Good. Thank you. Then otherwise we call the parse last page on the stir slice, and that turns that into the number. So that's what's happening there. Zippity-doo-dah. Okay, where we were on line, oops, no, wrong. Line 203. Yeah, so it prefers a map or else than this if else here, because we're doing if on whether or not the repository description is the sum or the none variant. And I played with that a little, and that didn't work super cleanly. I don't honestly remember what the issue was now. I don't know. Since I don't remember, let's try it. But I remember that I got into it and went, ugh, I don't like it, and I ran away. So let's give this a shot. So just to make sure, Rust map or else, map or else. So we're going to take two closures. The first takes no arguments, and that's for the none variant, and the second takes an argument, which is the value that is contained in the sum variant, and they both are going to, their bodies will return a value of whatever the appropriate type that we're trying to map to. So over here, we're trying to map to, in one case, this P class, or P block, and in the other case, this P block. Oh, so the question are these additional limits that I turned on. I don't know when I did this. In the last maybe 2 weeks, watched a YouTube video, which I would have to look up the details of. I don't remember, which is not good, but true. And it was basically suggestions for a bunch of Rust tools that this person liked and found useful. And one of them was Clippy, which I had known about and had used, but they also particularly suggested these four, turning on these four warnings here. In fact, we might, since I'm ignoring the unwrap use and the expect for the moment, maybe let me turn those two off, because then we'll get more they won't be in the way so much when Bacon reruns. And we'll be able to see the whole thing here a little better. Yeah, so now we just have these two, one of which is the one we were just looking at. So I have found those to be useful. I'm a real junkie for lots of lint warnings. I think this is probably partly being an educator. I want to try to write code that's clean so that I'm providing good examples for my students. And also, I think for people, whether it's myself or my students who are new to a concept or a language or a library, having tools that yell about best practices is actually really useful, because we don't always know what best practices are. And so having something, and you know, in this case, I've got uFind people to like point out when I do something stupid, or less than optimal, to be generous. But you know, you don't always have that. And so having tools that are like, yeah, no, you really should do this a different way. So I like those kinds of things. So I turned basically everything on. And then I've got Bacon running, so I can sort of see what's happening. And Bacon actually was also in that video, and I like Bacon a lot. Actually, Bacon's very nifty, and further makes me think I really want to have some tests floating around in this code somewhere, but not today. So on line 203, we've got our if let 203, here we are. So it recommends we use map or else here. So that would look something like, I'm going to comment this out because I do have the feeling it will come back. So description dot map or else. And now we're going to have two closures. Oh, stop it. The first takes nothing. That's the none case. P. Well, actually, we'll just grab this text here. Oh no, it's going to have all of it. We'll just go with this. Class equals text blue 700. There was no description for this repository. And P, comma, and now this one's going to take, oh, actually, hang on. It's not description. It's description dot, it's repository dot description. Repository dot description. Yeah, okay, that's going to be better. And now I should hopefully have, this is going to be a string, because I think the description is a string, but I don't have to specify a type. So I just want to see, like, is this even compiling? Or what? No, it's not. I do need, oh, okay, so it wants a valid HTML element, and I don't have one. So is this where I got bogged down? Yeah, I think this was. That somehow I can put an if here that returns a valid HTML element, but I can't do a map or else. It doesn't somehow get the typing here. Yeah. So I think you're right that the solution. So I think I did this before we figured that weird thing out. Oops, no. And then, so that goes there. Oh, weird. So it doesn't understand the HTML. So HTML bang. Yeah, so you're right. That's the problem. Oh, good day, Ugafa. Nice to see you here. It's a good day. There are lots of people showing up. Thank you. So yeah, if we do this business, now I don't like this. I mean, I don't like. Oh, and I guess I don't want that semicolon. I don't like all the nested brackets and the HTMLs. I feel like there's a better way to do this. But this does appear to be working. Now this is not happy. Why is is this just a matter of I needed the ampersand there? No, it is not just a matter of, okay. So we're moving description, which is behind a shared reference. So I think I have to clone here. Another place we're having string instead of a string slice. Oh, I see. So actually we could have done an as ref. I see what you're saying. So that would be here. Okay. Yeah. Cool. And now, oops, I gotta actually fill this in. So class. And for folks that showed up, I'm just cleaning up some lint warnings before we get back to pagination, because I had noticed that there were some. Let's see, this would be s.clone p. I need a close curly brace. Oh, I need curly braces around the description-y part. And hopefully that's good. Very good. So there have been some lint warnings, and I was just trying to tidy some of that up. And then the last one is it wanted inclusive ranges. Yeah, I had done a +1, and I forgot that there was the equal syntax on ranges. So line 270 definitely should do that. Line 270 right here. So this would be equal, because we get the page numbers come to us as 1 to 10 if there are 10 pages. So instead of doing 0.10, which you would do if you had kind of a non-exclusive right-hand side on the range, I had to add 1 to it, and I forgot that you could do this equal sign thing here, which is actually very nice. And so I think that will make that warning go away. And we can confirm that everything still works, because I don't have actual real tests. And lo and behold, yes, because there were 5 pages in this repository. So I think we're in good shape. So yay, we have made a bunch of warnings disappear. And that makes me happy. I like making warnings disappear. I'm going to actually commit quick before we start doing real work, quote unquote. Actually, I'm going to leave those commented out for now. And when we get to error handling, then I'll probably bring those back and see if we can make those warnings disappear. So that was getting rid of a warning. This was getting rid of a warning. Oh, I left that commented in. Oops. I should remove that commented code now that that's not there anymore. And Oh, no. Yeah, okay, that is the right piece. Okay. Like I said, I'm still not super thrilled about adding the scope and then reintroducing the HTMLs. I feel like that's, and it's weird that if doesn't require that. Somehow the system can tell that if is I don't know, if is probably a macro or some other language feature that's handled differently, which is why it can sort of see through that and realize what's happening in here. But for some reason it can't figure out that this is going to return an HTML element, and so it gets grumpy. So whatever, this works. It's, yeah, I think that's fine. We'll leave that be. So that is taking care of a warning, and that is taking, okay, so everything we changed is taking care of a warning. Clean up several Clippy warnings. Resolves or tidies up. Highlighted by Clippy. Are there any interesting enough that they deserve discussion? I will mention, I suspect I may need to make repository list and repository list props public again if I end up moving them into their own file, but I'll leave them private for now. And I think yeah, I think I'm good on it, the rest of it. Boom. Okay. Okay, actually, I've got a suggestion here. The regex. Wah, wah. Yeah, okay, so thank you. I think you're suggesting something that I haven't done and don't have any experience with, but that sounds like it could solve the problem. So my concern was that I construct this regex, so it does this compilation of this regular expression every time parse last page is called. Now, in fairness, parse last page isn't called very often. Like, it might be called literally just once in a person's use of the app in real terms, but still, it does seem kind of silly to have it reconstructed over and over again. And so I had made this note to myself that that might be a useful thing. And so esitsu's suggestion is a once cell sync lazy. Actually, I'm going to remove that because we're actually dealing with that elsewhere. So I want to look at Rust once cell lazy. A value which is initialized on the first access. So the first time you use it, it will actually get set up. Okay, so you call lazy new, and that takes no arguments, and it will do the thing, which in our case is just compile the deal. Presumably, and then you can call things on it like it's the inside type. So we can call it like it's a hash map. Now, do we need static here? I honestly don't know that I've ever. That's lifetimes. I don't really want static lifetime, static items. So it's similar to a constant. Is there a reason I would want a static versus a constant? Oh, I probably do need a static because a constant, if it's going to be inlined, that's not going to work here. So I think static sounds like it's probably the thing. So when you say, oh, and hi, Patata Still Papa. When you say I can declare it in the function, are you suggesting that just leaving it as is fine? Or are you suggesting I can make it static in the function in some way? Because I feel like, oh, no, you can have static in functions. Oh. Now, if I make it static, I maybe don't need the lazy thing. Static items do not call drop at the end of the program. So the initializer is a constant expression evaluated at compile time. Now, is that going to work for this? Yeah, right. The function's not constant because the regex depends on the link. No, it doesn't, actually. This is actually constant and doesn't depend on the argument to the function. So parse_page isn't constant, but that particular regular expression, oh, yeah, totally pass links. That would be awesome. So sounds like if I had gone elsewhere here, there would be an example of a regex. Let's just search for regex. Lazily compiled regex. So we have a static once cell, actually I don't know that that's here. Let me oh, actually I think you're probably pointing at exactly the same place. Is that true? Yes, you are. Cool. Oops, I wanted this back here. And then this get or init is doing sort of the same thing that the lazy is doing. Yeah. So the lazy is probably nicer. Okay, that's cool. But we can do it all in the function. I don't have to do it outside of the function, which I thought maybe I was gonna. But I like it better if it can stay in the function. So I think we want and I'm gonna actually just highlight and I'm gonna comment that out for the second. So I want I'm gonna want a lazy, that's over here. So a lazy thing, so lazy new, and I'm gonna have to import that. So So this is going to be, okay, make that go away. There we go. Regex. So it's just going to be of type regex. Okay. So I want to actually have that. And it's going to be lazy colon lazy regex boom equals lazy lazy. Oh, it's going to need to be static. And is static the, so we put static instead of let. Get it. Static lazy new, and now we put all of this in here. Does that do the right thing? La la la, no. Oh yeah, but of course we haven't imported. Stop it. Import that. And we're still not happy. What are we grumpy about? Unstable. Oh. So once cell probably requires using nightly or something that I'm not doing. Oh, that's annoying. I'm not sure I understand your comment about once cell is in the way of joining. Actually, why is this grumpy? Oh, so actually just bringing lazy in is causing a problem, because lazy depends on once cell, and once cell is an unstable library feature. Oh, poop. And actually that means, oh, so I could actually just bring in once cell. Okay, well, I'll do that. That's a thing. If that's Rust once cell, great. Presumably that's the on the way out, but since I'm not living, well, I'm probably living more dangerously than I'm used to. And so that would give us that. Oops, no. I want there. Now, I'm going to want to import once. Oh, actually, I don't need to explicitly import it. Oh, and now what? It doesn't like. Oh, so it's still not happy. So lazy is depending on the built-in version instead of the version I just pulled in as a crate, I'm guessing. Once cell sync lazy. Okay. Once cell sync lazy. So lazy, oh, because lazy is provided by the once cell crate, and I just needed to change it to use the once cell crate that we added as a dependency. I get it. I'm slow, but I got there. So that now is happy, and this is doing a thing. Happy day. Now, oh right, this takes a closure that takes no arguments and returns, and this would need to be the new regex. So this would be regex new. So we're going to say we'll take no arguments and we'll call regex new to construct the desired regular expression. And that will then, and that is probably the expect problem again. Yeah, poop. And I don't know if anybody has a bright idea for what to do here. I would love to hear it, because I don't. Okay, so let me think about the. Oh, so unsync lazy wouldn't bother being thread safe. And so, but apparently I can't use that in static. But could possibly do a thread local thing. And yeah, both of you figured that out at the same time. I guess the question is the cost of the thread safety that's being provided by sync lazy, how worried am I about that? And at some level, of course, this whole conversation is a bit silly, because I'm doing a performance tweak on something that, you know, is going to get called once or twice every time the program gets run. So I'm overthinking it a whole lot. So let's not mess with the thread local thing for now, but that could be something we come back to. But I am genuinely annoyed. Well, not annoyed. I'm genuinely confused about what the right thing to do here is on the, as far as the unwrap or expect, right? If I say unwrap, you know, that's kind of, or well, either unwrap or expect are kind of bad in the sense that I'm swallowing an error instead of processing it. And on the other hand, you know, what am I going to do if that fails? If this regex construction fails, it's got to fail because the code's wrong, because my regular expression doesn't, you know, have the right form. So, I mean, I agree with you that expect does sort of indicate that I've thought about it. But again, it's sort of, what's a reasonable message here? Like, the regular expression failed to construct properly. Well, that's not helpful to anybody. And I certainly, you know, normally you would expect, if there's an error, that you would want to try to bring it to somebody's attention. Clearly the user doesn't care about this. This would be a programmer thing. Oh, really? So just use unwrap there. Okay. That's interesting. I am totally going to look at that link, because that would be nice. Regex. So do not use unwrap for error handling is a fine first approximation. Okay. Well, Oh, that's interesting. I had not. A nice error. Yeah, so this is part of my concern, is that, you know, if I add a message here, am I actually adding content? And if you get a nice error message, then maybe that's actually more helpful than anything that I was going to say. And so an unwrap seems plausible there. That's very cool. So thank you. I really appreciate that. That makes me feel a lot better about this, because this had been something that had annoyed me. Unwrap. So I'm going to go back to unwrap. And we're going to call that a win. Now, why is that squigglied? Oh, static should have an uppercase name. Okay, fine. And that's go to rename symbol so that I don't get have to go chase around all the different things. Go away, you, by the way. Thank you. I appreciate the link, actually. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. I wanted this. And Clippy's now happy. Awesome. I will definitely read that. It's clear there's a lot of interesting writing about Rust out on the internet, and there are a lot of great videos online, and I've learned a lot from all of those. But pointers like that, definitely a win, because there's way, you know, the internet keeps growing and the number of hours in my day does not grow. So one has to do as one can. So recommendations are absolutely appreciated. Okie dokie. That's kind of cool. So then, actually I wanted to confirm that everything still works. Hey, looks like everything's happy. So I'm going to remove this to do and remove this, and actually I'm going to leave that separated by a line, and I'm actually going to make a commit since I think that was all pretty useful and nice and self-contained. Convert last page regex to static lazy expression. So this converts the regular expression that is used to extract the last page from the GitHub response header. Response to a static variable using lazy, so it only needs to be computed when it's actually first used. And so we had to add the once cell crate to the dependencies, although it looks like this is being added to the language in std. in an upcoming version. And the other thing I was going to mention, what was the other thing I was going to mention? Oh yeah, the unwrap. So, come on, hello, where are you? Beep, 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 beep. I just used the, unwrap on the construction of the regex. Thanks to a suggestion from Patatas Del Papa on Twitch, which suggested reading this post. La 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 la. That's over here, right? Boo boo boo. Okay, I think that'll do. So that's awesome. And now I think all of our warnings are gone. And we solved that regular expression issue that was annoying me. So that's actually, I think, a much nicer setup. So I like that. That is nifty. Thank you. Cool. So, in the absence of any other cool comments or suggestions, I would be inclined to go back to pagination finally, and see if we can actually get a little farther on that. So where did we leave off there? So let's actually first look at the code. If we run this, we have managed to calculate the number of pages. We've displayed these buttons, but right now these buttons don't do anything. So the important thing at the moment is to make these buttons do something. So we need the buttons to have on-click logic, and that on-click logic is going to have to set the current page number to be whatever button was clicked, and is going to have to trigger a new HTTP request that will get the relevant page. Right now, all we ever get is page 1. And we have no way to get any other pages, and we need these buttons to allow us to do that. There's a whole lot of usability things that we could possibly care about. Like if there were ever like a bazillion buttons, this is not going to work well. But if we stick to the default of 30, you know, a repository with 100, I mean, an organization with 100 repositories would be 4 buttons. And if we cranked up the default to be 100 repositories, you know, then you would need a really huge organization before you would get, you know, an unwieldy set of buttons. So I'm not super worried about that at the moment. I'm happy just displaying all the pages, and we'll run with that for now. So we have our repository paginator component, yeah, so here it's just me mumbling about not liking these brackets and needing another HTML. So it's another instance of the same problem that we had a little bit ago. So we, if the last page is greater than 0, so that means we have, oh, actually, you know, I probably really want last page greater than 1, because there is no reason to display, like right now, if I put in a repo that only has one page, this repo will have more than one page because I've made the pages very small. If I make the pages a more reasonable length, so if we go back to 30, compile, 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 compile. Da la la da la la da la 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 da da. Come on, you can do it, little computer. And then UMM-CSI 3601. This should just be one page. Yeah, we don't really want pagination to show up if there's only one page. That's sort of silly. So, in fact, I probably want this to be, if the last page is greater than 1, then it's worth going ahead and 3601 will be just one page, but if I go to S20, there'll be 2 pages. Oh, really? Whoa, that's not right. There are not 30 times 30 repos in that organization. Whoa, that's weird. What happened? That is super strange. Well, a bug to be fixed. What is going on there? Let's actually have a look at what GitHub gives us. On whoa, didn't like that. Whoa, how's we what? Huh? Okay, well let's just grab the tail end. There we go. Oh, but we need the header, and that is going to happen over here. So actually, if we just grab this guy and we stick that in there, send. I want the headers. Link. I must have scrolled past it again. Oh, there's not a link component? Oh, now I'm confused. Am I just missing very E-tag? Access control, strict, X frames. Yeah, it's like we didn't get a link back. Why did we not get a link back? If I take the per page off, does that... No, because we were getting links back before. Well, that's weird. If we back up to say here and send that. That has a link. What is different? API, GitHub, orgs. Oh, maybe the problem is that we don't have enough stuff. Now that one gives us a link, okay. And per page. And now we get a link. So I wonder if, did I just set something wrong over here? Per page is 30. So I would expect, let's make sure we're all recompiled. I would expect that the 3601 without a semester would have a single page because that has less than 30 repositories in it. So there's no thing there. That I get. But when I do this, I would expect oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, this, because I set the per page to 30, I bet that's exactly what I did. I bet I biffed in my thing. No, I've got it set to last page. Did I set last page incorrectly? No. I wouldn't have thought. Now, I do actually have logging messages, so let's see what it thinks is going on down here. So it does think last page is 30. So where is that getting done? Scroll through all of the stuff. The full repository list is rather long. Oh, come on. Maybe I need to take that out of the debugging, because that is, oh, there we go. The link element per page and oh, my regex, aha, I get it. My regex is checking page equals, and per page matches page equals, and so I'm matching, which is, I think this is part of what was worrying you, esitsu, maybe last week, is that the regex would capture too much, and in fact it did exactly that, I think. So it caught the page equals part of per page, was setting that to 30, skipping over page equals 2, and then getting rel equals last. So I'm going to need to modify the regular expression to, so that definitely should be in a test. Absolutely should have some tests for this regular expression, because there are obviously subtle ways in which this can get busted. Yeah, I need to modify my regular expression so that it doesn't get the per page and only gets page. Now, I could just require that there be an ampersand before the P, but technically order doesn't matter on these guys. So in theory, page could be first, not last. And then it would be preceded by a question mark instead of an ampersand. But it should be preceded by something that's either a question mark or an ampersand. So maybe that'll do. Let's see. So we got to find our regular expression that we were just messing with. So this needs to be something that isn't an ampersand or a question mark, followed by page equals. Boom. Now, make sure we're compiling. Do 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 do. And now let's try. So we'll do that. And that loads correctly. Now we say S20. No! Did not work. Oh, what? Oh no, that's the first one. We gotta go down. I should have cleared this before I ran it again. Maybe we'll do that actually, because then I ought to be able to scroll right up to the top. Let's just reload. Go. Scroll up to the top. That did not work. It captured 30 again. You little weasel. Is caret, is caret not the thing that says not something? Oh, no, it's actually under, I wanted it to be one of those, not negation. If I'd wanted negation, I would have said not underscore. But I want it to be one or the other of those. So actually that's, yeah, I want it to be that. La la la. Yeah, because I need either ampersand or question mark before the word page. And now let's go ahead and just do the long one. Hey, there, that's better. Okay. Yeah, so it got page 2, captured 2. That's good. And if I get rid of that so that it all fits, okay, bingo. I think that is a happy thing. So now I think we're in good shape on that, and I'm going to actually commit that fix because that is an annoying bug. Oh, actually, I'm going to discard this hunk and go back to 5. Only display pagination controls when there are at least 2 pages. This changes the display of the pagination controls so they only appear when there are at least 2 pages. It also fixes a bug where we were capturing per page equals when we wanted to just capture page equals. Which led to the per page value being used as the last page number. Boom. Doodly-doo, doodly-doo, doodly-doo. Yeah. Okay, so that fixed that problem. Programming, so many little things. And now, you know, interestingly, I think that is the first, that may be the first kind of traditional bug on this problem, on this project so far. I think everything else has been getting Rust to compile and or making the code more rusty. I don't think there have been any straight up bugs until now. That the compiler has been a sufficiently aggressive gatekeeper that I have not had to worry about just old-fashioned stuff doesn't work because I got the logic wrong bugs until now. There are a lot of things about the display that aren't great, right? So there are plenty of things that can be better, but in terms of like full-on old-school functionality errors, I think that may be the first one on this project, which is pretty impressive. I mean, we have 350 lines of code and been working on this for, what is it? This was episode 8, part 8 of this. And so a fair bit of code has been written, and I think this is the first time there's been just a straight up bug. And of course it was in a regular expression, which the Rust compiler couldn't have been expected to have caught or done anything about. So yay, that's actually very cool. Go us. Okay, so let's get back to our paginator. There we go, paginator. So we have our button group, and basically these buttons need to do something. Right now they don't do anything at all. This if statement is super long and annoying, and I feel like there is a way in U even to make that less gross. Rust U class, classes in U. List of items returns a class's instance. Each item can be of any type that implements into classes. So you can use that for things like sum and vectors. That doesn't really help what I'm doing. Oh, HTML yet nested. Would this make my life better? Oh ho ho! I bet HTML nested would be useful and could make some of those weird bracket things helpful. I'm not going to deal with that now, but I'm going to make a note about it. HTML nested. Okay, back to classes. I don't think classes helps me. in this context. So I think actually I'm just going to make a little function here because this thing just irks me. That's a lot of stuff to have there in a class. Paginator button class, and then we're gonna have to have a function fn paginator button class. Not sure what it'll take yet. There's the body, so it's going to take in the page number and the current page, which is going to be usize, I think, and a current page, which is going to be usize. I don't know, this may not win. Oh yeah, we would just want current page there. Bum, bum, bum. Page number. I don't know that I've actually improved things at all, because this is still pretty long. About all we've done is gotten rid of the actual button parts. Why are there square brackets? There should not be square brackets. You work? No. What have I done? Huh? I just wanted this to be a string. Oh, I didn't return a string. That would be helpful. Oh, and these are, can I get away with, no, I'm gonna need to say toString and, oh, it's dot toString, not colon, and it's a function. Oh, come on. There we go. So I don't think that actually made anything better, but it made me happier. I'll have to think about that some more. But here's what we care about. We want on click to be some logic that is going to get called when we click our button. So if we look for an example up in where's our submit button? Let's search for submit. On submit. And here we go. Button. So on click, and then we have the name of the callback, which is going to be a mouse event. So our on click's going to look something like that. La 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 la. Where did our stuff go? This is where I really need to move things into multiple files because I'm scrolling endlessly to find things, which is not great. And so I'm going to want to have a on clicky thing and Now, here, my onClick is going to need to take the page number as an argument. So I need a closure. No, what do I need? I need to call something here that has page number as an argument. So am I going to make an onClick, a callback for every button? Or can I have a single callback that takes the page number? Well, I suspect that this mouse event could be used to dig back up and find the button and then ask the button what its number was. But man, I don't want to have to dig around in the DOM. If I can just pass the page number in to my onClick, that would be a lot nicer. But then I feel like I'm going to have to make a whole bunch of different callbacks instead of having one callback that does the digging. I'd end up with a bunch of callbacks. Do I care? Not clear. Not clear at all what I want to do about that. Well, the callback, if I make a bunch of callbacks, none of them are big functions, and I probably get better performance by having multiple functions in Rust/WebAssembly than having a single function that has to go rooting around in the DOM. Because rooting around in the DOM just never seems like a good time for anybody involved. So maybe we be bold and we be daring and we try to actually make a bunch of functions. So that means I need this to be an expression that's going to return a callback. And so I'm going to need something like make button callback. That's going to take the page number as an argument. And I'm going to need a function which could be I can make functions directly in other functions, is that right? Let make button callback fn and that's going to return a callback mouse event. I can say callback from move. So we ignore the event. and we just won't do anything for now, or do nothing at the moment. But this didn't work. So you can't apparently, come on. Doesn't look like you can, oh, drop a function inside a function definition. Oh well, sad. I tried. So this is going to have to come out and become its own thing up here. Function. Boom. Okay. Yeah. And I may actually make it a closure. Like, I could imagine that oh yeah, I want to comment that out. Let's just remove it. And I'm gonna put it here as a comment. So I have it to look at. I can totally imagine that where'd it go? Where am I? Right. Oh, right here. I can imagine that this might become a closure. But since I don't really know what it's going to look like yet, I figured I'd start as a function, and if it turned out to be short, then I can swing it back into being a closure pretty easily. But I was going to start this way until I know what it looks like. So I'm going to make a button callback, which is going to oh, there's nothing stopping you from embedding functions within functions. It just cannot reference any variables from the scope that it's in. Interesting. So I could just do this. So I was trying to do like let stuff, and instead the answer would just be to say that. Oh, interesting. Because that at least scopes it to be specifically in this thing. Because I don't expect this logic to have any need to be needed anywhere else. And I'm trying to keep the, in fact, actually then this guy could also go in there. Oh, that's kind of cool. Okay, well, I'm going to re-grab this and put it here just so I've got it to look at. And now I've got my stuff all messed up. Now you go away. So I think my mistake was I thought I was going to have to like use let to give that a name, which, yeah, you would do in some other languages, but here we can just straight up drop the function definition right in the code. That's kind of cool. So now that means the fact that I don't have access to anything outside the scope means if I need to set the current page, for example, I'm going to have a way of accessing the state. And maybe I'm not going to have access to the state. So that will be potentially interesting, and I might have to pass the state as an argument. Am I going to be able to do that? I don't know. Don't know quite what happens there. So let's try it without it. And so here, if the button gets pushed, we want to update the state So we want a new repo state. So let repo state equals repository paginator. Repository paginator state. And I want current page to become current page to be page number, and I want the rest to be whatever the old one was, and there is syntax for that which I do not remember. Rust struct ... defining and instantiating structs. There's a way to, there we go. ... and then the old struct. Okay. I don't remember the syntax for these things, but at least I'm beginning to remember that they exist. So that's a win. And this is repository paginator state. Now that will probably fail if the scoping rules are as you indicated. Can't capture a dynamic environment in the FN environment. Use the closure form instead. Or pass it as an argument. Let us try passing it as an argument for now. Repository paginator state. Repository paginator state. And then that means we're going to have to change this to take that. Now I think there's going to be like an ownership issue. What? Closures FN once because it moves the variable out of its environment. So I think we need to clone the state here, which is really just cloning a reference to it. Whoa. Use state handle. Well, no. So do I have to actually change this to be use state handle? That would be annoying. But we could do that maybe. Oops, nope, that would be the wrong place. Then we go here. So maybe the closure is the right way to deal with this. And then this becomes probably like star to say I don't want the reference, I want the actual. No, did not like that at all. Let's actually back up and look at the error message before I start just flailing. Expected that. Okay. What can I do with So do I am I going to have to actually just extract the pieces because I can't do the ... game? Or is Actually, let me look up use state handle. Rust use state handle. Maybe a place where it was use state handle, yes. Return, so oh, deref. I wonder if deref is the thing I want. Other options might be clone. What, deref. Does that make anything better? No. Doesn't like that. Oh, I found a that gives me a reference, which then if I star that, I don't feel like I'm doing the right thing here. I think I'm just programming with my hands. No, didn't like that at all. Oh, so maybe my star worked before. The problem is it wouldn't copy it. Because our state has a vector of repositories, and we would end up so I bet that was the error when I just had the star and left the deref out. Yeah. That's annoying. So my state has a vector of repositories in it, and it's not a reference to a vector of repositories. It is a straight up vector of repositories, which means in this instance, if I want to make a new state based on the old state, I would have to copy the vector of repositories, and that doesn't seem great, because I could probably do something like clone here. Nope. Cannot move. Oh, the clone would go after this guy here. Oh, sure, because we would want to dereference and then clone. Oh, but actually, I want to even clone. Oh, I don't define the clone trait on this. So repository paginator state, I could presumably, where is repository paginator state? So I could say clone here. Now that's clonable, and this works. And I wonder if I even need the clone now. Will it just like figure things out? Yeah, it probably does. Nope, it doesn't. Okay. But cloning that list of vector repositories, that's gross. I don't really like that. Now, so there's a couple of options that come to mind. One would be to split the state up so that the list of repositories is in a separate state component. But another and maybe this is the better way to deal with it, is if we're going to change the page number, the list of repositories is no longer meaningful. So in fact, the only part of the state that remains is the last page number. Current page is going to change, and the list of repositories could just go to be empty. And then it will have to be repopulated when we make the HTML request for the other page. So maybe that's the thing to do, is to avoid all this cloning. And what's my order of events up here? So the repository is the current page and the last page. So we could just set repositories to be an empty vec and last page to be the repository paginator state dot last page. Boom, boom, get rid of that. And that avoids, probably need braces around that. Yeah. Do I even need the star? Will it automatically? Yeah, it will automatically do the conversion. So then I want to say repository paginator state dot set repo state. Now, does that work? It appears to compile. I don't look like I got any. Oh, I've got some warnings, but I don't have any errors. So let's deal with the warnings in a second. Let's see, does this appear to run? Boom, ba-doo, ba-doo. Hey. Well, we did something. So it didn't do a new HTML request, so we're going to have to deal with that. But it did change the loading, which is actually a reasonable thing to do. Okay, well that actually is sort of useful. I feel like that did a thing. Now, the trick is changing the state didn't cause the paginator to update to redo the use effect with depths. And that is probably because we only depend on the organization, and we need to depend on the organization and the page number. Interesting. Now, I think use effects with depths takes a single thing dependent. Okay, let's actually go find some documentation, because I'm not sure. You use effect with depths. Here we are. Now, this does not provide anything resembling useful information about the types. So here we go. use effect with depths, takes dependence. So that's just a type. So, okay, so all the dependents have to be in a single argument. And if I want this to depend on both the organization and the page number, I'm going to have to make this something like a tuple. And, oh, I wonder, have we known? So it knew that organization was a string reference. How did it know that? Oh, right here. Okay, so we would say we're going to depend on organization and current page. And now this move is going to have to become organization, comma, current page, and current page doesn't exist here, so this is really repository pagination state dot. No, paginator state. No, I've typoed somewhere. Oh, it's a borrow. I don't want to move it. Do I have to like clone you? That would be annoying. That did not help. So actually, I need use effect. No. Can I just maybe this will be the thing to do. In the same way that I get the organization here. Dot current page. Does that work? Except, oh, but this is in the other callback. So that's why that's not doing me any good. But it does suggest that, what if I did it here? Ah, cool. So that seemed to have done that. Except, I wonder. No, because those will be values. I think that'll be okay. And then I need to add page equals current page to that, so that we have, oh, I guess that go, and then I would need a current page equals current page. Don't stop it. Okay. Now it should actually call for the current page, and it depends on it. Oh, but we don't like ourselves. Why do we not like ourselves? A lifetime. Why is this a reference? I don't want that to be a reference. That should just be a straight up usize. So the dependencies are references. Well, that's not super helpful. That's annoying. Okay. So we move current page. So oh, we're getting close to the end of the time. And I'm not sure what to do about this. I really didn't want a reference, because if I could just pass the darn usize in, then I wouldn't have to worry about lifetime stuff. But because it's passing a reference in, clone it before the spawn local. So you're suggesting clone it right here like I did with organization. Oh, well done. So we had to make the clone of the reference, and then that cloned reference could be moved in here, and its lifetime would be well behaved. Oh, thank you. You just probably saved me a huge amount of hassle. So it's one thing I love about doing this online like this, is that I don't know how long I would have spent, and I probably would have done something much more complicated. So okay, does that actually get us to a place that does a thing? Well, maybe. Seaside 3601 S20. Okay. Now. Oh no! It might have worked! Except no. We went back to current page is 1. So we're getting the same page. It's for forcing a oh! That was weird. So when I clicked 1, it disappeared into the ether. And when I click 2, I get current page 1. That seems strange. Which suggests maybe the wrong page number is getting passed in here, but this looks right. So I'm going to get rid of this. I don't think this is useful anymore. Why in the world? Let's actually put some debugging. Make button callback. In fact, I'm passing the old state in, but really last page is all I need. I could probably simplify that. Called with page number, missing paren, and then I also, whoa, hello. Hello? Oh, I needed the into. I always forget the into. There we go. And then I think I also want to say here's the new state. New state is boom, ba-dum, 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 repo state. Oh, and that and into again. La 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 la. Okay. Now compiled. Boom. Now. Okay. Whoa. I think something's being reset that shouldn't be reset. The new repo state make button was called with page number 2. The new repository paginator state oh. No, probably not, Wagatha. I think I'm just being inconsistent. Because I think I actually use it in some places. Yeah, so you're saying I should just have like page number here and skip this whole silliness, and ditto I would have repo state here. Oops, what have I done? And skip that. So I think, and this clearly applies to a host of places, but there are places where I'm pretty sure I've done this. So I think I'm just not being very consistent. So thank you for pointing that out. Oh, repo state. Because it needs to be debug, I need to tell it. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So thank you. So we call it, we get the new thing, current page is 2, last page is 2. It did seem to make a request. And we captured, whoa, our capture was 1. And there are 11 pages. That is... Yeah, I think that, and I think, you know, I tend to just reflect what I like read on the internet as I was learning Rust in a lot of ways. And so recent changes have probably not consistently entered my brain. So thank you for, and it's clearly a nicer syntax. So that's a good thing. So I'm a little confused about why I got a 1 here and why this says anything about page 11. Oh, this is page per page is 5. Whereas I think our original, do we have, nowhere per page is 5. So why did we not get, per page? So it's just the 1. So how did we not end up with, we should have gotten, this should have had a lot more than 2 pages. We should have more than 2 buttons here. So there's still something wrong in our, so page should be 11 here, and I'm getting 2. It somehow picked this one up. This is exactly what you were worried about, esitsu, is that now I'm in regular expression hell. So it somehow did this page all the way down to this last. So it thinks there are only 2 pages when there really ought to be 11. So I have got another regular expression bug. It is after 12, and I need to go and do family stuff. So I think this regular expression thing is annoying, and it'll be particularly hilarious if I go back to esitsu's suggestion that didn't involve regular expressions, because it turns out that getting the regular expressions to work is an unreadable mess. But I'm gonna like wrap this up here for now. I think I should be here on Saturday. Just checking, because we're going to be moving our child out to Madison, Wisconsin here in the next week, basically, week and a half. But I think I will be here Saturday. And then Tuesday, a week from today, however, there is a pretty reasonable chance that I will either be carrying furniture and stuff in and out of their apartment, or driving somewhere between events. So I kind of suspect I won't be here on the 16th, but I should be here on Saturday the 13th, where we will be able to continue this. So thank you all very much. This has been super productive, and I've learned a lot, and I greatly appreciate the feedback and the suggestions from all the fine folks that participated today. And I hope that you have a good couple of days here between now and Saturday, and hopefully I will see several of you again on Saturday, and I will probably attempt to resolve this regular expression thing offline, because yeah, watching me debug regular expressions is probably like zero fun. So let me try to get that resolved, and then we can go back to actually like caring about the, you know, Rust and you and all that sort of fun stuff. So thank you all very much. I look forward to seeing you again soon, and we shall talk to you later. Pew.